Yeah, spoiler territory. You've been warned. EU.
Right.
Shabaka, you can unmute your mic.
I am here.
We go in headstrong,
Right.
right?
So
So
straight up,
shoot it off,
so let
Ricardo.
us be clear. Earth 42 miles got A plus in our Spanish class, right?
Yes,
My boy was rolling the R's.
yes.
My boy was
For
rolling
real
the
though.
R's. I'm like, well, wood. Yeah, the big conceit of it and the twist, the ending when he gets sent to the wrong universe, he thought, oh, it's the spider's universe, not his own. I was like, all right, shit. Like, okay, wood. That was
Yeah,
really,
that
really
was
clever.
one of the moments that
Right.
I had to let process in my brain,
Yeah, I was
and
like,
then when it clicked, it's like,
it catch me. It was
oh,
only
I
when
loved it.
the mother say who is Spider-Man. I'm like, oh shit, in the wrong universe. I'm like, oh no.
I loved
I'm
it.
like,
yeah,
you get catch.
yeah.
Uh, a couple other things like okay, so I think the kind of the weak link ish to the storyline I felt was um even though I like the voice actor, I like the actor a lot, but I find Spider-Man 2099 wasn't great for me. Because I find his arc wasn't super clear. Like I get what he was complaining about, but like that
Yeah.
wasn't super clear. But the central
The
conflict of it
backstory
was great.
needed a bit of clarification
Right.
as in terms of why he is the way he is.
Yeah. Because it does say
I guess if you can remember, it has something to do with his wife being killed,
no,
but
right. So
Yeah.
he was in another.
his family's killed. He saw another universe where he dies in the alternate world, so he decided to replace himself. And then
Right.
because
Okay.
he replaces himself, that causes chicanery, all this multiversal chicanery. But it's unclear if that's the reason. So people is like, okay, so they're blaming Miles for that or not? Not sure, right? But yeah, the big conceit of it worked because, like, yeah, if it wasn't for Miles, May Parker wouldn't exist, and May Parker is an aberration, right? If you wanna argue like that point, right? She's not supposed to be born. She wouldn't have show up because remember he didn't get the confidence and didn't get Peter B didn't get the confidence and the redemption arc from last time to have her exist. Stuff like
Right.
that, right? Spot. So Spot grows from being a joke villain to being a true dangerous menace. But I get the
I
feeling it's more
love
to do
that.
with like his own mind being warped by the power. So like that's why he's getting more and more,
Yeah, he
unruly.
grows. He
He grew,
grows
right?
with the
And
power.
yeah, I'm gonna straight up say the little art history stuff. So that's straight up Jean Michel Basquiat, right? Am I the only one? That's some straight up Basquiat.
Well, please explain, please.
Yeah, Jean Michel Basquiat is a very popular artist in the 80s. So if
Hmm.
when I was watching his when he was blinking, especially when he powered up, he was just blinking and bouncing about and that old stuff. I was like, oh, that looking like some Basquiat though. Whatever. My standout, Hobie boy, that boy there though.
Yes, boy.
He
And
was
I
real
didn't
hard.
even know going in. That was Daniel Kaluuya. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even
yeah,
know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
hard. Loved it. I
I love
really
how like this moment talking about it's wait this way just all this talk about
yeah,
taking down the bureaucracy and
yeah.
taking down the man and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right?
And
Uh,
you had to go to the pub to get, with a few pints to demand them. And like, I well, would.
yeah,
I know we are our brother. Well done.
Pregnant Spider Woman.
Pregnant Spider Woman. Hard.
yes.
Great.
Play by McGill, Issa Rae. I was like,
Issa Rae.
Yes.
Yeah,
hey,
she was great at it.
She was great.
But my boy, Dopinda, as Puppeteer.
Yep.
He was
yes.
great. I was loving that journal. Like, that whole Mumbattan thing, excellent,
I
excellent thing.
love that. And the
It,
backstory, when
yeah,
they do the typical, okay, I'm just going to say this one more time,
right,
this is how I became this, is this.
right.
I was
Yeah.
loving all that.
And
The moment, the moment, sorry, that the habit stitches though was, his girlfriend's dad
right.
being a, well, a policeman or a sergeant,
Yeah, well,
whatever it is. That was funny.
he's the counterpart to
Easy
well,
counterpart.
get Gwen's dad now. And
Yes,
Yeah.
Miles'
yes,
dad.
yes.
Yeah.
It's just the change of the venue.
Exactly.
Is
It was the
Yes.
same beat.
was
But
just
so that central
wow.
conceit, the central conflict is great because it's kind of similar to the central conflict of No Way Home, right? Which is the whole they're supposed to turn out like that, right? And Peter in No Way Home was just saying, yeah, I can't go to die, even though that's their quote unquote destiny. And this does a very similar conceit, very similar idea. I'll say another thing is that if you know Rick and Morty, same thing, kind of similar conceit and ideas. So like, all right, so it ain't brand new as a conceit. But yeah, I find they make it work for what it is, Dread. The central conflict is great, especially with Miles being the one to say, look, I'm gonna do different because he's really a different Spider-Man. Last little thing, and I'll shut up. Donald Glover, holy shit.
Yes, boy. When I
Yeah,
said that, all right, I was like, all right, we reach.
yeah. because if you think about it,
From Homecoming to this.
well, no,
You reach, boy. You
Actually,
reach.
from Arrested Development, I believe.
no,
I think
Community. From
Community.
From
Sorry.
Community.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
When
Community.
he started
Yeah,
it.
he. A lot of people say he is the impetus for why you had a
Miles
why Miles
Morales.
exists at all. As a character. And then when he show up in Homecoming, I was like, because people wondering if it's exactly the same character. It's unclear if he is. Not necessarily true, but it could be. More than likely, I think he is.
It could be. It could be.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think more likely it is, but we don't know for sure. And yeah, but as I said, the big conceit at the ending, Miles Morales in Earth 42, rolling his R's and what he becomes. And so a lot of people say, well, according to Spider 29, to Miguel, it was supposed to be Peter, but no, I think Miles in that role was supposed to get bitten because they show him in the animation. They show him writing, and he had the same hair, and the spider was there, and it disappeared. So when Spot was doing his flashback, no, I'm like, all right, they're making it work for what it is, and yeah, as I say, it just really, really works for what it is. So yeah, that's my last point about it. That's all the little. It had a ton of shit, boy, like the Lego Spider-Man.
Yes,
Peter,
boy.
Peter
Yes.
Park's car. They do Peter Park's car, which was funny. I'm like, oh yeah,
Andrew
right,
was there too, right?
Who?
Cameo was there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry.
Andrew Garfield. Was
Yes,
his
right, right. Well, he
Yes.
was. His flashback was there. He wasn't there, but yeah.
Well,
Because
yeah.
they showed Toby too. In the flashback thing with how everybody have the uncle are dead or certain things have to happen. The whole canon.
And there's a certain Spider-Man who wasn't there at all.
Well,
Tom.
right, Tom, right.
Tom.
But they had
Interesting.
Spectacular Spider-Man in the dread. Spectacular Spider-Man was there. It's like, right, what?
Yes,
Doing
boy.
this?
When I
Like,
saw it, like, I
yeah,
know you. I remember
right,
that show. Yeah.
Yeah, because the only notable Spider-Man.
Sorry, repeat that. Sorry.
No, the only notable Spider-Man that was not there was the 90s Spider-Man. That character. I don't think he was there. I remember seeing him. I would have noticed him.
Oh no!
Because
I was
Right.
also looking out for the MTV Spider-Man. Remember that?
I was
from
looking
the
for him too.
2000s? I was
Yes,
looking for him too.
me too.
Yeah.
I was looking for that too, and we didn't get that either. But that's about it. Like whatever. I'm sure you could find him in the background somewhere, some shit like that. So whatever. Because I only watched this once, but my brain was picking up all the information as best as I can, and I pick up almost everything as I say. Because when I seen people
Oh, you
complaining
did? Okay.
or talking about stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, right. I saw that. I saw this. I saw that. Yeah. So I don't think I did anything I missed per se. But yeah, the central conflict of the canon event thing is I find is the most important part because it does that great use of meta text. And Spider-Man and Batman is the two characters they had to do this with. Where you have a popular franchise that makes money, but also very popular and also repeated itself. And they say, all right, well, like play with the formula. And this is what I was saying, how they addressed the problem I had with the first one. I felt Miles' arc in the first film was not that strong, in my humble opinion. Or at least I should say it was somewhat diluted because of all the extra spider people. This one, it takes that and flips it and says, no, because all these extra spider people and him being the new unique one, that's what his arc is, of him subverting the whole conceit. And well, especially through my boy Spider Punk, right? Telling him to reject the conceit and whatnot now. Because Spider Punk could tell him how to break the force field, to tell him to use your palms now. Stuff like that. I love it. I can't be mad. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
So I mean, no, that's okay. But I mean, there's so much to talk about, right? So before I forget, right? So him out here, I think the reason why we are having a third film, Beyond the Spider-Verse, is for me, I think that this is Sony's attempt, or I should say, another attempt for them to do how to say, for them to do flawless, if you will, or I should say, an error-free trilogy of Spider-Man movies.
Right.
Look with me here. Think about it, right? Because remember, they started off strong. That when I talk about them, I'm talking about Sony and Columbia, right? That's what I talk about, right?
Sam Raimi's version.
Right, Sam Raimi's, right? So they had 1 and 2, and then 2007 one, the third one kind of shot the bed. It wasn't really good, right? Amazing Spider-Man, which I don't care for at all. Sorry. Those two films, right? Remember in the last film, in the second film, they were setting up this whole Sinister Six thing, and it's like, oh my god, it's gonna happen, man! And look at how it ends with Spider-Man twirling the manhole lid, and look at how cool that is. Yeah, we're gonna get a part 3, and that never happened, right? But the MCU now came and actually did their own successful trilogy, right? With Tom Holland, right? But it was a collaboration, of course, with Sony as well, too, right?
Right.
So how I see these films playing out here, and the reason why we haven't Beyond the Spider-Verse in the first place, is that Sony and Sony / Columbia want to have their own, even though it's still under, it's still licensed under, Marvel, right? It's still under them, right? But they want to have their own, like, fully established, successful Spider-Man trilogy. So this is their third chance at redemption.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. That's how I see it.
Well,
as.
here's the thing. I go in speculation time further with that because, okay, so Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur had a character called, well, the Beyonder. And
Right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I suspect that this Beyond the Spider-Verse stuff might be leading to the MCU, and they might be linking it back to the MCU and all of that multiverse chicanery to sort that out. The MCU hasn't done the best job with that, in my humble opinion, right? It's okay,
No.
but it's not great, right? And so they're trying to rehaul all of this stuff to make it work. And well, the big news was there's going to be a live action Miles, and it's presumably this Miles. So, that's what I feel going on there now. So that, that's my speculation. I don't know, I could be dead wrong, but that's what I feel going on there. We'll see at the end of Beyond the Spider-Verse. And that's why I feel they split it up now. Again, we'll see how they'll wrap it up with this ending, how they're going on. But I still, in my head, I was like, right, they really needed to have this be in two parts. What are they going to do with this to ramp it up in a certain way now? I don't know. So that's how I feel about that.
Right. So as I mentioned, the Spot, right? The moment I saw him, I didn't even know he was a villain in this show, right? I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Literally, last time I saw the Spot was in the
cartoon,
90s animated
90s
series.
Cartoon. That's why I thought the 90s cartoon character would have come back, because that's where I knew him from now. Yeah, and that was the original. Right. That was the original Spider-Verse. That's when that was invented. That
yes. With
Madam
Web and stuff like that.
Yeah, John Semper Jr. When they was there now. I like, yeah, it's like good shit now. They're like, yeah. So I thought we'd have at least make that appearance. Although he could come back, we could see him show up, to be fair.
Yeah. And they actually get Jason Schwartzman to play the Spot, and I thought, like, voice-wise, he was so great, right?
Yeah.
Also, I didn't even notice till, like, later on, the Jamaican store owner, right? Was actually voiced by Ziggy Marley.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Because I saw Ziggy name and was like, wait, no, what? Wait, you in this show? You were with Spider-Man, and then I remember, oh no, you were the store owner, right? And also points for incorporating the Jamaican parties. I was like, I see you, film. I see you, right? Very, very New York of you, right? I love that, right?
Right.
But yeah,
they also had
scene with him.
They also had a cameo picture of a football player, from Tottenham Hotspurs. He was the background poster from Miles' roommate.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of that, with on his side of the room, I noticed an A$AP Rocky poster. I think it's the Long Live A$AP album thing, and it's so funny because A$AP Rocky showed up like twice. I think it is on the soundtrack. So I was like, all right, that's cool. So similar to like how last time where you saw the Weeknd and the Chance the Rapper posters. Don't mind, both artists weren't even on the soundtrack, but whatever, right? But yeah, the moment with Spot, trying to break into the ATM, and he called it an ATM machine, like this, the mere fact that Miles to say, why do people say ATM machine? Like it's the M machine had me in stitches. I love that, right?
And that is why I love that intro. We did for Gwen, and then they went switch to Miles, and showing the funny side. That is why I love how that intro.
Speaking of Spot, who the Spot guy is the Bagel guy, and we make that joke with Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? Two multiverses created by a bagel, right?
Yes, you're right. For real. But yeah, boy. And well, all right. So that's just to touch on the Spot quickly, right? See, I just they watching like, okay, you just this arbitrary villain, similar to like what we see with the Vulture. I'll talk about him in a bit, right? Yeah, I just thought he was just there, and he's not gonna be the real villain, but he kind of is when you really think about it, right? But where his story progresses from there, they'll catch me completely by surprise. I just thought he was just this goofy guy, and even like the whole backstory with him, like, oh, I was working with the Collider thing with Kingpin, and I was the one who brought the spider from Earth 42 and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I made you, and you made me, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The mere fact that he tripped, fall, and kick himself in the own ass is funny to me.
Right, yeah.
That it catch me like, wait, what happened? And then when
there's a great bit in the beginning when the dad was like, he looked like he was about to jump. He's like,
yeah,
and then the camera just cut to him.
I love those bits where it's setting up one thing in one shot, and then next he's like, nope, I do that shit. Yeah,
you do that shit. Like, it's good bits.
That was hilarious. I actually like how they incorporate the dad in this too. With
both parents make work. Like they have. Oh, and speaking of just the animation stuff. Oh, anybody notice this? I don't know if you noticed this. The beginning of the movie, right when the movie just started, it had a cough right in the corner. Anybody saw that?
I saw something.
It had a little thing, and it looked like somebody coughed, but it's like a cough on the screen, like one of the onomatopoeia, comic things now.
No, here's the thing.
Did
I
anyone see
was
that?
wondering.
I
I
don't know if I was
saw
going
it, but
crazy.
I thought that it was something with the projector, the screen, or whatever it is now.
Okay,
But I
right.
noticed something on the bottom right too, and I was wondering, wait, what is that?
Yes.
Again,
So I
a
think that's
second
part of the
viewing
film.
is needed. A
Yes.
Thank you.
second
Yes,
viewing
yes,
is
yes.
needed.
Yeah, because,
Right, right, right.
I heard a cough, but here's the thing. So the screen I went to the very first early screening down by me, right? It had no one in the theater. So when I hear that cough, I was like, well, it had nobody here, so that was on the screen. So it sound real realistic, eh? And that's like a surround sound place kind of thing. So it's like, what? I'm
All
not
right.
going crazy here,
I
right?
think I know why they do that.
Yeah.
It's meant to represent the audience waiting for the
Yeah.
film
I
to
was like, all
start.
right, they catch me.
You know,
All
when
right,
the
no problem.
screen goes black and you waiting for the show to start,
Yeah.
somebody's had a cough, right?
Somebody's had a
Somebody
cough.
does, right? But that's real cool though. Like I
Yeah.
thought, I just saw it there, like in the edge of my in my peripheral now.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was just something with the screen or something like that. I didn't know, but you noticed that, so holy
Yeah.
shit, right?
But
Yeah.
yeah, and that's all the art stuff. So as I said, Gwen's stuff in particular was really impressive. That watercolors and using the watercolors
Yes.
as a mood for Gwen and the father and when they're together and when they're angry and when they're further and they keep changing it. They're changing the
Yeah,
color thing.
good observation with the
Yeah,
mood
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And
Because
that stuff
you
was like
saw it change behind
yeah,
that.
and
Yeah,
they should it switched from teal to blue, and then the father and then again every frame is a painting because that shit look amazing. But then all the
it
other
did.
stuff like we call him Spider Punk, he looked like a bunch of magazine cutouts, right? And
Yes, yes, yes.
that
And
stuff
if you
looked
know a
great.
thing about like how punk the punk aesthetic is always shown, is always
Exactly.
like those magazine cutout thing. I thought
Yeah,
that was real cool.
yeah, yeah,
It reminded me a little bit like how the intro for the last couple seasons of Legends of Tomorrow. Yes, we're
right,
bringing DC
right.
into it. Like
Yeah,
it's like that, right? But just to touch just quickly on the Gwen Stacy stuff, right? So at first I wasn't like I didn't expect I was gonna start with her, right? But as Shabaka say, it's just that contrast between her, like what's going on with her life, and Miles. That makes a lot of sense, right? So I like that we actually get more context into her friend Peter dying,
yeah.
because in the first
Right,
film it was
yeah,
just
they are. Yeah,
my
he
friend
becomes
was
the lizard.
Peter and he
Yeah,
died,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He's the
But you
lizard in
didn't
that
know
Yeah.
film.
two
Right.
things: one, he was lizard, and
Yeah,
two, it happened in the friggin' prom. Though, like
you know,
what?
brutal. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that catch me completely by surprise though. But that reveal that he was the lizard was great. Because you just there thinking, oh, he's just a friend, okay, but you didn't know it was like that, right? The vulture though, I did not expect. I don't know what style it is, but the way how he
Yeah, the
looks
kind
like
of
a
Renaissance
literal
one.
Renaissance,
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
a painting, more like a blueprint kind of thing,
Yeah, that
like
kind
a
of Leonardo da Vinci kind of something. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
that was amazing, though.
yeah.
And I know that, I was trying to pick up on the accent because I know he wasn't talking pure English. I think he was talking some kind
Like
of
Russian or
Italian
something.
Right.
Probably.
something. Yeah, he wasn't talking pure English. And I think there was some moments where, like I think remember one mentioned with the whole text box things. Yeah, like a character would say something. I think it was around the time when the Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Woman as in Jessica Drew came up. They mentioned a word. I just see at the bottom right, oh, this is what that word means. I'm like, this again, this is what we do in movie. This is
Yeah.
what we doing. Okay. All right, cool. Speaking of that though, I love how well, with Spider-Man 2099, if you remember from the last film, yes, you saw it by the very end, right?
Right.
The thing is with the end, you just remember the whole Spider-Man pointing
So
scene
here's
that
the
he
thing with
was
that,
in it,
right?
right?
Here's the
But
thing
there
with that.
was, well, early on, you see him like talking to this AI and talking about, oh, well,
Right.
things have changed in the Spider Verse. You
Right.
need to investigate that. He's like, do I have to? He's like, yes,
Right.
you need to. I love that.
But here's the thing with that, it feels like a totally different character. Like a lot of time passed that just kind of pissing this dude off now. And because he's real bitter
Good
at this
point.
point, like he
Hmm.
feels totally different. Like he jacked now. If you look at him, they look
Yeah,
totally different.
yeah.
There's stuff like that.
He's way more jacked now. Yeah.
Some of his humor beats fall flat for me. Like it had one beat where the whole the what is the elevator where it is coming down slowly. That fall flat for me. Sorry.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I
I
don't like
think
them
that
bits.
was the I think that's the issue. The second issue probably with this movie probably is the comedy was not
Yeah.
as funny as the first one.
Yeah, no, some of the jokes
Yeah,
don't work.
and
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
because it is doing so much with so much characters. So yeah, not everybody's joke gonna land. But I felt, yeah, you're right with him. But then again, he is a serious, I don't give a shit type. He's
Right,
not the funny guy, so to
right.
speak, right? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, right, but because he's a serious person that other people like kind of clowning him about that, like, so like even the computer kind of sassy, which funny, like,
Yeah.
he's like, do the thing, and he's like, what thing, and he's like, they explain the thing, like little stuff like that. I like that. I like that kind of humor to me, like that funny to me at least. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I like that kind of humor too, right?
right, but
Just
yeah, go ahead.
all right. So just to touch briefly on the dynamic between Miles and the parents. I really love that. I love how they delve so much more into it, right? Early on with him, with the grades and all that kind of stuff. When he meets with the principal. Even right down to the party that they have
Right,
when his
that was
his dad
Rachel
was going
Dratch,
to
right?
captain.
The principal was Richard Dratch,
The
right?
principal.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yes,
really?
yes, yes. I seen it
yeah.
on Wikipedia. That's it.
I listen, I was like, yeah,
I
that's
didn't
somebody from.
recognize her voice.
Yeah, that Richard Dratch. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah,
So yeah, I was liking, the moments with, the little, not so much a block party, but like this rooftop party that they
yeah,
had
yeah.
too. That was really cool, and I like how well one thing the show really shines at though is just the dialogue, like that's how natural it feels, like to see way how they talk and like just the quiet moments. Because I know people this there. Probably there were some people this day wondering, okay, when we gonna get to the action, boy?
Right.
It's just Miles talking to mom, Jawab, boy. But now I was liking that dread.
Yeah,
It
no,
just felt so
That
organic.
conversation with his mom
it's great.
and him,
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
moment,
it's great. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that
Like,
conversation.
but that little funny moment too, like with all right, so when he got the B in Spanish, when he announced he got the B in Spanish, and like every time he talk back in the mother, it's how when the father like, wow, like little stuff
yeah.
like that. That funny. When I think I don't know if I noticed this, but she noticed like when she snap her fingers and you see a little Puerto Rican flag like come out it. Like what? That's funny though. Like
Okay, I did pick up on that.
yeah, little
Yeah.
things like
All
that
right.
dread, that dread, and then they make it think, and then we'll have that come back full circle with the alternate miles, the 842
Mm-hmm.
one. Right? Well, it's only motherism now, so like that why he's speaking Spanish so good this time. Like, ugh. And he looking
Yeah.
different, he looking bigger, and he like his jaw, big now. Like little things like that. Now. Like all right, word man. Like little things like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah,
When Miles, or I should say when Gwen meets with Miles, it's sweet and whatnot, right?
yeah,
But like when I think about it, right? Because at first while I was watching this, it's like, all right, I felt it was sort of distracting that they're talking, but they're doing all this elaborate web swinging and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's done so quickly. But I think that it's Gwen more or less not wanting to tell Miles the truth, trying to kind of sidestep certain things. Like so, it's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, look at me, and we're swinging, and we
What
sort of like each other.
what
Yeah,
But
what?
she had.
once you sit down and actually kind of talk now, and I actually love, how it's a Spider-Man thing, right? The way how they sit and
When she
it's
Yeah,
alongside
that
this,
listen,
and
special moment. But
when
I
yeah,
think
like I said,
she had a kind of a torn issue with her. Should she
right,
tell
mm,
him or not? What her real motive was?
right.
Um,
Well, here's the thing with
that is
that.
this is what I like
I
about Gwen's story in this movie.
Yeah.
mm,
What do you think about that is that I felt like she could have been the one to rebel, but because her dad is so close to the story and what happened to her dad, it didn't address now. It's only until when she found out the dad quit. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
quit,
it don't have to be a canon thing. Like, okay. Because she thought
yeah,
her dad was part of the narrative, the canon event kind of thing as well. I like, okay, they
Yeah,
flip it back and make it smart as well. Or also I feel for my boy Miles when she mentioned she leave the toothbrush at Hobie Place, boy. Like, oh god, boy, Miles. I
yeah,
feel it, but
boy,
that have to cut deep for you a little bit, boy. Yeah, a little bit, right? Little things like that. But yeah, I really like what they did with that arc wise, like who rejected and who didn't, and how Peter B told him to hold his daughter. That's a really good moment because if you think about it, the daughter is not supposed to be part of a canon, right? That's not supposed
mm-hmm,
to happen. Stuff like that. Yeah, I find it really well worked, and they get into this big
yeah.
conceit of what's supposed to happen and what's not supposed to happen, and
Right,
that
which is what I want to get into.
yes,
Well, right now, right. So we'll get to Spider Society now, right? So just to touch on Peter B, right? It was cool seeing him back. I'm glad he have a daughter. Glad he reconciled with Mary Jane, right? Because that's what he set up in the first one, right? At first, I felt he was kind of like a little on the annoying side. I was like, "Oh, look at my kid! Look at my kid! Look at my kid! Look at my
yeah,
kid! Look at my kid!" Right? But
yeah,
it kind of makes sense, later on why he is that way. I think it makes a lot of sense. I especially love like near the end where he has to go to save Miles, right? Which I'll address in the end, right? It's like, yeah, you know what I mean? I have to leave my child behind. He's not gonna have this child. He has a prop anymore. And ooh, look at my child. No, he has to leave her back because yeah, it should get real, right? So Spider Society. Wow, 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 wow. I mean,
yeah.
like as if you're a Spider-Man fan, boy,
It's the
you
Rick
would
and Morty
be
thing.
in Nirvana with this, right? Yes, yeah,
It's
yes,
the Rick
it's
and
Rick
Morty
and
thing.
Morty.
It's the Rick and Morty Counselor Kang, Counselor Reeds, maybe the TVA, same thing.
Yeah.
It's one of
it
those ideas
is.
that that come out a little too late for the show to work as well as it could have. But yeah, it's still pretty good. Like because they still do the central conceit very well. But again, if you're familiar with Evil Morty and his thing, yeah, you've seen it before.
Well, true, yeah,
Yeah,
just seeing all these incarnations of Spider-Man, though, of course, Spider-Punk is a standout for me.
yeah, he was hot.
I should mention too, before we get to Spider Society, Spider-Man India, though, he,
That was hot.
absolute standout in the film, though. Just
Yeah, hot.
that entire
Puppeteer. Yeah,
sequence was
yeah,
was amazing, right?
yeah.
That change
I
in
especially
sequence, that change in scenery, that's what captivated that
yes,
movie
yes.
more.
And
I
what's
particularly
clever
love
about that?
the. Uh,
They do a typical dumb joke about like the whole chai tea joke, which how much Indians hear that bullshit joke already, or the naan bread joke. But they still had to do it because like, look, you still had to talk to white people, right? Whatever, stuff like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the chai tea joke was
Charity.
pretty funny,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right? But yeah, I love the set piece now with this building about to collapse and all these Spider-Man, or I should say Spider-Man that involved trying to save people. That was really cool though. What catch me though was with Spider-Man India's girlfriend's father about to die, and he steps in and saves
right.
him, right? And what I was thinking, just me like reflecting on the film now, this whole canon thing that they set up here, right? Now, what because early on, he just kind of got bit, and like he had a fairly normal life, right, before he became Spider-Man, right? But with this whole canon conceit that they set up here, I feel that it was like clearly like the father, like clearly like clearly that man was supposed to die, and that would
Yeah,
lead him, that
Captain
would
Singh,
make him
right?
be,
Yeah,
yeah, Captain would, yeah, and then he
Okay.
become more serious. Like clearly that was supposed to happen, but then Miles steps in and
right.
saves him, right? So that's like the first red flag right there, right? So back to Spider Society, right? Cameos galore.
Yeah,
Seeing Donald Glover there was like, holy shit, we doing this.
yeah, man.
And it's to the point that you will see incarnations of Spider-Man that you probably saw in a comic somewhere, but like I don't know all of them, but like one that I noticed that where I felt it looked familiar to me was, well, yeah, the Spider-Man, the cowboy Spider-Man,
Yeah,
and the horse that also have the same skill sets and whatnot.
Spider
Yeah, that
Cat.
looked familiar to me though. Like I
Yeah,
know I saw that somewhere, but I can't remember. But the highlight for me though is, yeah, Hobie Boy Spider Punk though. Like
yeah.
again, it's just that anti-establishment, version of Spider-Man though. Um,
And it's how they did it. And it's how they
yeah,
did
how
it.
they did,
Yeah.
just
Is is
aesthetically with
is,
the
is the
visuals.
build up to bringing him in? You mean he wasn't seeing him before? He was only hearing Gwen speaking about him, and she just narrating him.
What I liked with that
That's
is
what
that
they
okay,
did.
they give a good reason as to why he would join a spider society, especially how clearly authoritarian it is, right? Uh, he said, look, he there to protect his drummer. That's a great moment. There's a good little beat, little character beat,
Hmm.
right? And he's kind of like the Han Solo of the situation. You have every reason to not trust him, but you
Yeah.
should trust him implicitly. Kind of thing. He's just the goodest good guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's this great moment. I'm probably gonna butcher the line though, where Peter B's daughter, poops a diaper there, and you say, oh, that's her going up against anarchy or something like that. Something along that line, Dread. Like
No,
how he
he had a
says it
great
though.
line. When the whole was pulling everything together, it's like, yeah, that's a metaphor for capitalism. Funny.
Yes, I
That's
love
Yeah.
that.
funny.
I love that. I
That is
love that.
very funny.
Now,
Yeah.
was there a reference to everything everywhere all at once in it as well too? Because I
Well,
think
I
somebody
think it's only the bagel thing. Like, to be fair,
the
like,
bagel thing.
yeah, it's just the bagel thing. Like, oh, the guy who's the get hit from the bagel is the one who turned out to be Spot, because that was
Yeah.
a bit from in
Yeah, from the
Spider-Man when
first film. Yeah,
when he
yeah.
was running
Somebody
away from
yeah,
Octavia's son, right?
yeah, and you say
Olivia,
grab some bagels, right? No,
yeah,
Peter B was grabbing had the bagels in hand
right,
and throw one.
you're right,
Yeah. Right. So now let's talk about the whole main conceit now with Spider-Man 2099, right? The whole thing with so basically what happens is that he pretty much accuses Miles of just being an anomaly, right?
right,
He is not a pure Spider-Man, if you will, right?
right,
Because the spider from Earth 42 made it to his Earth, so he technically kind of just he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he becomes Spider-Man now. So in Miguel's eyes, it's like, oh, you're not supposed to be that, right? at first I didn't really quite pick up on the why, because he was just so angry now. I think it's for me it was just because of how overwhelming that moment was, because he was just more or less raining fire and brimstone literally on this poor kid, like, you're not supposed to exist and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
It was like that, right? Because
Yeah.
only when I thought about it, was like, oh, okay, that's why he feels that way, right?
So
And it's just like,
technically, did they purposely let Miles come into them so they could distract from what was going to happen? That's what I'm wondering.
Right. So here's the thing with that,
that's a
right?
good
So
question.
yeah, that whole thing was kind of unclear to me in terms of, well, clearly, like, okay, he clearly don't blame Kingpin for the thing, because Kingpin kind of started it, right? But
Yes.
was he aware of these incursions before? Like, was that happening without Kingpin, or is just magic stuff in general? And that's why I think it might be tying into the MCU, because he mentioned Tom Holland. He's like, yeah, Doctor Strange and 19999. And like,
Yeah,
oh
I
shit.
like that. That was funny. That was
Yeah.
a
So, and
funny
it's like,
moment.
wait, so because it's have a big back and forth about whether or not the MCU is 616 or 19999. So I'm not sure about that. Again, nerds will sort it out on Reddit or whatever, right? Who cares?
Yeah,
But
yeah, I mean they have a year to do so before the next film comes
right,
out. I think, yeah, next year,
right.
right?
So yeah,
Yeah. But yeah. So that was something that I had to think about, But it sort of kind of clicks a little bit more now I think about it, right? But yeah, this is idea that they are all like their existence is all influenced by sacrifice, right? So yes, they have to sacrifice and all that kind of stuff. They have to lose the people that they love in order to be who they are, right? I could kind of understand from Miguel's perspective, right? But just going back to Spider-Man India, yeah, he was almost on that road, if his future father-in-law had died, right? Um, but Miles was already on that path now because he already lost his uncle, right? Which you get to, right? But what they set it up here is that, oh, it's not just one death, and that's what catch me by surprise. Okay, you're just thinking, oh, it's just the one death, right? It's the Uncle Ben, no, it's the Aunt May, like if you remember from No Way Home, right?
right,
Nah, it's deaths, son. It's
Yes.
deaths, and
It's an
that's gonna,
entangled web that if Miles only cuts that web, it destroys everything.
right.
I believe
yeah,
that is
yeah,
it.
yeah. And just for Miles to say no, I don't want that to be. It can't be this way, Dre. Like, why can't I just be my own Spider-Man? Because technically, you guys are your own selves. So why listen to this guy who think that we should all fit this certain mold? Like, that's a really strong team, though. But again, it's something that I had to think about and let it process, and that's when it clicked, right? Even there was a little moment that I was a little confused by, because I should mention too, the chase scene between Miles and all the other Spider-Man
Yeah, hard.
is orgasmic. It's,
Yeah.
it's nerdgasmic. That's what it is. That nerdgasm of
It
just Spidey people
had a
on
moment
screen. But
with a spider cat that cracked me up.
yes, and I was there wondering, is that a meme or
Yeah,
they invent this for the show?
yeah, nah,
I don't even know,
yeah,
right? But the moment where I was like, all right, guys, I want to say guys, I mean the directors, right? Because they get freaking Joaquim dos Santos, right, the legend, to be one of the three directors in this, right? Because yeah, the three directors of the first film are executive producers now, so they get three new people to replace them. I thought that was really cool though. So like with each film, I assume they're gonna get new directors to handle the work, right? That was really cool.
Now,
But
here's
yeah,
the
though,
thing
it's
about
the
that one.
uh
Were the writers for this one, were they originally writers for The Flash? Is there some kind of link between them and The
okay.
Flash?
Which
Phil
flash you talking about?
Lord and Miller, are they?
No, I don't think so.
Well,
Which flash you talking about?
original,
The
yeah, The
new Flash
Flash,
movie?
yeah,
I
the
don't think so.
original.
And
I
no,
don't think
no,
so. Yeah,
Lord and Miller's with Lego Movie and
they're right. That's what they're
Call Me with
known
a
for.
Chance
Yeah.
of Meatballs and stuff like that, right?
So
Yeah.
they had no connection to the Flash that was supposed to come out. That they were supposed to be the original writers, and then they left to come and
Oh,
write
they
this
left
instead.
that. Okay,
Okay,
they
that I
I
probably
didn't
won.
think
know.
Okay,
so.
yeah, probably. Okay, it sounded kind of familiar. They're probably on that project at one time, but I don't know.
Okay. I didn't know, right? But yeah, it's this shot though where it's in the trailer where they just on top of a train tread. So it's 2099, like just hovering over, like literally crawling over to Miles, right? And you are seeing like this mound of other Spidey people just
Yeah,
crawling towards them. I just watching this day like us.
yeah, hard.
the
Forever.
team that had to sit down and put all this
Put that
together. 'Cause it's
together,
not
yes.
just sprites on a screen, eh?
Yeah.
It's literal
But
characters that
I
you
will
fit
not be
into one
surprised.
shot, into one gigantic mound
I,
of
I
characters,
I will not be
It's amazing.
surprised. I will not be surprised to find out if it beats some world record for most rendering something or something like that. Like it had to be that. Because that was
Yeah,
insane.
boy. That was
Absolutely insane
insane.
was watching. Yeah.
That's like you thought like Akira, like the climax of Akira was crazy. See that, just see that shot alone, Dread, and tell me that's not the most insane shit you ever saw in your life, Dread. But yeah, but just to end the whole Spider Society thing quickly, right? I do like the moment where you have this moment where the device that they use to go between worlds is so genius though, where it's like this mechanical spider and it spins a web around the
Right.
person.
Yeah.
So you saw it with
Yeah.
Gwen at first. I was like, holy shit. I
And
would have
all
never
I is like
thought
Madam
about that
Web.
though. That is amazing.
Yeah, all I is Madam Web stuff. Like it's like I wouldn't be surprised if Madam Web shows up at some point. I get the feeling they're doing the grander stuff. To be fair.
Okay.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
weaving
and
and
I forgot
weaving
to
stuff.
mention
Yeah.
too, they actually get McGill, Amandla Stenberg. She was Spider Bite
Yes.
in this. I was like,
Right. Her
hey,
characters like okay, they're
I
doing
don't
this
know,
character though.
but I like the fact that we're using virtual reality in
Yeah.
this world. This is amazing, Joe.
Her character, like they get a side character for that, so I don't know what they're gonna do with her because I see her show up in the ending too. When Gwen bring together she posse now to help out Miles at the end. They're like okay, but so yeah, that's
Oh,
like
she
the
was
good.
there. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
even
she was
notice
there.
that. Holy shit.
Hmm.
Okay, wow, right? Um, but again, it's one of those blinking and missing moments, right? So Miles is trying to get back home, right? In quotes, right? So I have to thank Metro Boomin's soundtrack for this, right? Because it's one song, right, where it ends with that clip with the machine saying, home signature or whatever it is, right? Dimension signature, I think it's called, right? So the machine itself had to find the home that he is, the earth that he's from, right? And then it sends him back to where we thought what the whole audience was thinking was his home, right?
Yeah.
And that is like, again, just thinking about him away home, I was like, wow, boy. So because the spider that bit
It catch
him
you. It catch you.
came
Yeah.
from 42,
Yeah. It
it
catch
sent
you.
him back to Earth 42. So we all thinking that he is back home, right? And there's the
To
moment where he goes
1610. Yeah.
to talk to his mom and all that kind of stuff, right? But like the moment you start seeing like Sin City S kind of rain, I was like,
Yeah.
all right,
And
something's
looking green.
off
Eh?
here. Something not off
This is
here.
Yeah.
when it started getting really dark,
Yeah.
Yeah,
literally and
You're
and
looking
figuratively.
you seeing
because the first
2099 with you're seeing him by this neon sign, and you're
yeah,
like, all right, shit gonna get real now.
but it,
This for me is when shit started to get really dark in
no,
this
it's when
film, man.
the
But
first hint was where she said, "What you do with your hair?" You're like, "Oh shit!" Like I didn't think about it. Eh?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
think about it. I did. And then when she say, "Who's Spider Man?" I'm like, "Oh
who's that?
shit!"
That's when I
Like
catch on too.
side
yes,
pressure.
that will catch me. That will catch me, boy. Okay, that's you're just there because you see it early on from when he was back in his normal home. It's like I don't want anybody to know that I'm Spider Man, right? And there's a moment where he was about to tell his parents he's Spider Man. He's like, you know what, forget. I love that moment. That was cool,
And
right?
Gwen was right in the actual spot, but I seen other universes listening. So you're thinking
Yes.
Gwen was
Yeah.
right there, actually
Yeah.
listening to them.
Yeah.
That's what kind of
Yes,
catch me.
They do
yes.
that clever. I forget what that type of editors. Silence of the Lambs do it. Where you open the door, where you're thinking that bullshit. They catch you.
Yeah. It's something that Nolan likes to play around with a
Nolan's
lot
do that
too,
a
right?
lot.
With
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get to the big moment, right? The big moment for me, right? The stuff with Gwen and her dad was great though. I love how real, like it literally felt real in terms of the dialogue, the banter between the two of them. Because it's an argument, right? I actually like how the dad is just like, well, yeah, you know what, you don't care because you don't care about me anymore, and it's how he kind of just reluctantly say, yeah, I quit the force, right? And that's why you kind of just see him just there, like drinking himself, right? Drinking himself to stupor, basically, right? But yeah, just the moment where she hugs him and how the color changes in the background with that watercolor style.
And they
Yeah,
get white at the ending. Yeah.
it was white. It was lovely, boy. But it's just how she kind of realizes, oh wait, like we could kind of choose our own fate or whatever it is. Like it doesn't have to play out a certain way. It doesn't have to be about losses because we're Spider-Man and we have powers, right? So I like that. It flew past me, but again, when I was thinking about it, oh, that's when it makes sense, right? So now for the big moment, right? So Earth 42, right? So Prowler return, boy.
Well, he's not Prowler, but yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Uncle
in this
Aaron comes
world,
back.
yes, he is. Yeah, he's Uncle. Aaron,
Yeah.
Uncle
Okay,
Aaron, right?
Aaron.
Yeah, and he does there like okay, he alive, all right, what's going on, all right. And then there's a moment where they go on top of the roof, right, where the apartment building, right, where in the normal Earth that we saw before, they had the party, and there's a great scene where they cut this mural of Aaron, right, there in normal world, right.
Right,
But in
yeah.
this
The
world,
same
you
as the
see,
father,
yeah,
right.
you see the father. It's like, oh shit, right.
Yeah.
And then, right, and then that's when Miles gets knocked out, right. So you're just there thinking, okay, somebody kind of swoop in to attack them now, as in Miles and Aaron, right?
Right.
So I just seen him, they like tie up now, like chained up basically to this punching bag, right? I won't lie though, this entire moment, boy, that was the changing, that was the turning point for me, boy. That was like, people talking about the Empire Strikes Back and the Dark Knight and how you know comparing shows that are known for their darkness now, and he compared it to this film. I really got that with this moment here, Jared,
That
where
is
you're
what is
seeing
what
Miles tied up.
that is what track they play at Heart of the City, boy. Like
Yes, boy.
yeah.
For Aaron, right? For
Yeah.
Aaron, because if you remember in the first film, right? Yeah, the man knew anything about music, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I should mention points for that Rakim song that they play in,
Yeah.
in this movie here.
Yeah.
It's not on the soundtrack, but it's a bop. It's a classic. I love that song. And it just establishes the Brooklyn. And like when I heard that, I was like, yes, word we on, right? So it's like how they played Hypnotize in the last film. This
Right.
is how they play it here, right? So yeah, when they play Heart of the City, but I was like, all right, shit gonna get real. Miles gonna get like beat to death or something, right? And then it stops there. And you just think
When he
that you just
punched the
see Aaron.
bag, I swear he hit him, you know.
I swear it's him
Yes,
too.
boy.
I really swear it too.
And it's just
Yeah.
how they show it too, with the
Yeah.
wide shot and the exaggerated boom.
Yeah.
Like I see that and my heart dropping. It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, you might get punched in the face, dog. Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that, boy.
And did they switch at that moment to Gwen and Miles' family? I try to remember. I think they were switching in between as well.
Right. When she was in his room, right, yeah. And she
Yeah.
walked into the company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just how they were cutting back and forth with that though was fantastic, boy, right? But yeah, just where they stop it off with Miles being chained up to that punching bag, and Gwen now knowing that she has to go, well, basically telling Miles' real parents that, yeah, I'm gonna find your son. I love that moment actually, right? And well, just to close now, seeing Peter, well, she going for Peter B. Parker now, and she actually whole squad with she. So yeah, I noticed my boy Spider Noah was there, right? But I didn't notice Spider Bite there. Like I was just kind of picking up on who was there and whatnot, but I didn't see her in it. So thank you for mentioning that, right? But the way how the music swells there, and how it's literally the same music that we heard from the beginning with Gwen and her backstory slash meltdown and stuff like that. Yeah, it just builds things up to like this fever pitch now. And then I just saw to be continued. I was like, no, Trent, no,
Yeah.
why? You know what I mean? Like
I
I
loved
felt it, right?
I loved
Yeah.
it.
But compared to Fast X though, where I was laughing when we knew that it was gonna be there's gonna be a
done.
two-parter, right? This one felt
one small thing I felt take away the tension a little bit is to see when Miles' fingers was lighting up on the chain. I like, okay, they should have showed that.
oh
I felt they
yes.
should have showed that. Yeah.
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 Well, it gives us some sort of hope,
Hope.
there, you know what I mean?
That's
So
what it is.
Nah.
without
I
spending a
wanted,
whole
I
year
wanted to
thinking that
remain,
this
I wanted
man,
to
like,
remain tense. Like, just you're not sure.
alright.
Right.
But Uncle
Whatever.
Aaron,
Because people go into this movie thinking that the first scene you'll see with Miles is his face like a bloody mess because Aaron was beating up on him on something.
Yeah.
At least it kind of
So,
gives
yeah,
you this is a little sliver,
but
Yeah, a
Uncle
couple
Aaron,
noticeable things last thing. So no Spider-Man, right? The Japanese Spider-Man.
No
I don't
boy,
remember.
and I was looking out for him. Like
So
I mentioned to you, Ricardo.
So he had to show up for the next one.
Of
Definitely.
course, of
Pretty
course,
sure.
yeah.
It's a couple things. So it was kind of, I thought this was an inconsistency, but no, it's not. Spider-Man 2099 doesn't have spider sense. I thought that was kind of clever. I didn't notice it because, like, wait, we should be able to dodge that or something like that. Like, no,
Oh,
but
I didn't think about that.
he's
No.
relying almost entirely on technology and this kind of stuff, man. But that's his whole narrative, Unlimited Spider-Man. No, that was the name of Spider-Man Unlimited. That character, I think, shows up. So the whole cape thing.
I think so.
Because
think
they
so,
talk
yeah.
about because they talk about how Spider-Man don't have cape, and it's like, no, Spider-Man Unlimited has a cape. Yeah, that's a whole thing. Whatever.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about Unlimited, but wow,
Yeah,
look at
that's-
that, right?
You
Yeah.
know, it's a whole drama behind why that show exists, by the way. But you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to go into
Yeah.
a weird history. But yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
okay,
that's a wrap up. We're
Right.
gonna wrap up now. We're gonna wrap up now, right? Shabaka, you was gonna say something?
Yeah, so about Uncle Aaron, he he is the same personality between the two worlds.
More or less,
His
yeah.
motive, it seems, is the same thing.
Yeah. It's just the
Yeah,
dimension
yeah,
of
yeah.
it, the direction and where. Because he taking care of he taking care of the mother, clearly. He gives you some money.
Yeah,
But it's Miles is prowler this time now. Like, all right, I'll see what they're doing.
Yeah, that was really dope though.
Yeah.
So yeah, while I was laughing at the fact that Fast X was gonna be was a to be continued, this one I was just like,
Yeah.
I want to see more, man, because I was enjoying this film so damn much, right? But I will lie for like the last half hour of it, I was like, there's gonna be a part two. There's gonna be a
I think
part
they
two.
were.
There's
I
gonna be a
think they
part two,
were.
right?
They were making. They when they finished made this one. It was much longer than how it was,
Right.
and then they
Yeah,
decided to cut and say, no, we can't do a 4 hours movie. It's not going to
Right.
hold. And then they'll cut it, and then
Okay.
they'll say we're going to add more into that one for the third one. I think that was the
Right.
plan, because I think I was watching an interview with Haley, and she said they was
Right.
up to where she left wherever she was to do this interview. She said they were still doing some voiceovers.
Nice. Nice.
So which
okay,
was
Yeah.
like
okay,
about a couple of
and
days ago.
yeah,
As I say, I think a big part of the master plan is to lead back into the MCU itself, and the end game is
mm,
going to be one Battle World, if you know what that is, and then live action Miles, because Miles was the only person to survive the Ultimate Universe. So
okay,
that's what I feel going on. Is live action Miles coming into our world, doing the live action stuff, and this gonna lead to that. That's why I think
yeah.
that's what I think they're doing. That's my speculation, at least.
Right. Well, for me, I think it makes sense to make this a two-parter though, because again, you're just telling so much though, and I feel like if they try to just keep it under 2 hours though, they would have to cut a lot of things out, and you could tell that they really want to tell a specific story though, and I applaud them for that, right? Um, but I am excited as hell to see what we get in this third one here, boy. And just lastly before we get to final thoughts, right? Shabaka, you was talking about the time, right? This is currently, if I'm not mistaken, the longest animated feature film I would say to come out of Hollywood, right? If I'm not mistaken, because I mean,
I think
anime
so.
films have run about the same length, whether it's stuff like say Akira or Princess Mononoke or other stuff like that. They've
Right.
run that whole 2 hour 50 minute thing, right? But I didn't really feel the length. But I would say like around the 20 minutes leading up to the end, I was like, all right, I don't think they're gonna wrap up
I
this thing
I know
right
for
now, but
for
I
me.
kind of want them to at the same time.
No, no,
It's like that.
for me the time passed because when I was sitting down, I watched it out. Somebody called me when I was in theater, and I saw the time on my phone, and like, oh shit, it's 5 o'clock already. Way so that catch me.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just a testament to how great this movie is, right? Because not just the animation that ropes it in, is the writing, is the dialogue, is the story, is the humor, is the characters. It's all that though. And just to get to my final thoughts now, right? Before and final rating. Um, I really, really, really love this film though. Do I enjoy it as much as the first film? Or I should say, do I prefer this over the first film? I can't say at the moment. I really should rewatch this and then I can make my opinion, right? Because the first film was just such a game changer now, you know what I mean? It just did so much things, right? And it just unapologetically dived into its comic book roots, right? That's why, after the whole logo stuff at the very beginning, you notice the last logo that they see is the whole Comics Code Authority, right? Which
Yeah,
is such a
yeah,
great
yeah.
indication as to what to expect, right? Whereas essentially it's like this is a comic book come to life, Jed. I know you've heard the story. Sorry, you heard this expression told a million times before, but we really mean this shit, Jed. This is literally a comic book come to life, Jed. This is an omnibus. This is a graphic novel. This is a crossover series come to life, Jed. And this is what we're giving you here with this movie, right? So yeah, they just outdid themselves here though. The ambition is mind blowing to me. That's really my one takeaway with this though. Like just how they were able to just step things up just spectacularly with this one. From animation to voiceover, to voice acting, to characters, to stakes, all that is raised, right? It's not a perfect movie, mind you, though, but in terms of this animation, yeah, this is going to go down as one of the greatest ever made, though. This is one that animators, up and coming are gonna look at and be inspired by, right? Spider-Man fans are gonna love this. Comic book fans are gonna love this, right? Um, I can't speak for those who never see Spider-Man or or never read a comic book or whatever. It's clearly not for them though. But just the sheer ambition in this though is staggering. And what blows my mind even more now is that this literally comes out not just a year after Everything Everywhere All at Once, but the same year where that movie won Best Picture, right? So that's a little indication of what we could expect next year at the Oscars. Hopefully, I would love if this movie wins Best Picture,
It's
right?
gonna get
Sorry, Best
nominated.
Animated Feature.
It's gonna
No,
get
it's not.
nominated. It's gonna get nominated for best animated.
Of
I
course, though.
to me,
Of
if the
Definitely.
first one
course.
win, then this one gonna win. Like I can't see what gonna beat this.
Yeah, I mean, what Elemental? I mean,
You know?
what? Huh?
Yeah, Twilight.
But
Twilight
yeah,
has been. Well, sorry, Pixar have been sleeping for a while. So whatever.
boy,
Yeah.
So yeah, we've talked long enough about this though, and there's so much more to talk about. But again, this is going off of our first viewings, right? And this is absolutely one that we will see again, and I will say this is absolutely one that you need to see more than once, especially on the big screen. Don't even wait for this thing to come out digitally. Watch it big screen another time, and then when it comes out digitally, then you could pause and be like, oh, that character, right? So yeah, rating wise, like a decent 4.5 out of 5, but easily one of the year's best films, the best animated feature I've seen so far this year, and this is like what, a couple weeks before Elemental come out. Like I just be watching Elemental, be like, ugh, look at this, Pixar.
You're looking alright. I mean, it looking.
And that's the thing for me. I think any movie gonna come after this, I'm just gonna go in and like,
Yeah, boy.
yeah,
Like
I'm just going.
yawn,
Yeah, I'm
Pixar,
just gonna be like,
yawn.
Yeah.
Trying to
anything.
warm a heart, yawn.
There's no big anticipation for
Yes.
me for any movie right now.
I
Honestly,
listen.
You know?
I hyped myself up for Transformers next week. Well, this week, whatever.
Yeah. And I'll close with this, right? June is shaping up to be a hell of a month though
Yeah,
for
while,
big
eh?
releases,
But
though, right?
like a
Because
bunch of
yeah,
good
literally a
TV
few
and thing
days
coming
from
out. I
us
think.
Yeah.
talking about this. Sorry, literally a few days from us talking about this, we get in Transformers, right? Rise of the Beast.
but shall
So
be going and see.
Yeah.
yeah,
sure.
me too, me too.
I was
But yeah,
excited.
this is absolutely worth checking out though. We can't talk about it enough. Shabaka, your final thoughts and rating. You can take your while with it though.
I think I still feel like the out of cinema reaction, so I'm still have this euphoria about it. But I think I might want to watch the first one and then watch this one again and then to decide. But for now, this is the best Spider-Man movie for me,
Hmm.
honestly. I will give it out of, I don't know if you're going to rate it out of 5, probably a 4.8, 4.7, anywhere around there. It really, really blows my mind watching it in IMAX. And I just wish I could see it in Dolby to see what is the difference. And I was asking my cousins this in the States, what is the take on the difference? And they were telling me
Hmm.
a little bit about it. The voiceover, which I expected to be great, I just love how they just went beyond the characters and just added more, and it just added more templates with them. And I will add more that Gwen's story, this little shift with her and her detraction and everything, what she has to face as well. This is what I liked about with Gwen's story. Miles, I expected that, but there's more to it with Miles that I love. And I love the interaction with him and the family. The antagonist, I just liked what it did with him, how it just expanded and it just shocked it into that they didn't expect it to be he was going to be going to touch more on him further and darker. I know I got a little teaser or spoiler before went in, as in it is the Empire Strikes Back. I got that essence of it, so I was going into the cinema thinking it's going to be dark, and so I was waiting for that moment. So it didn't really hamper me that much in the ending when that moment struck me to see, oh, this is what they were talking about. It didn't feel like that. It just felt like, wow, I got a shocker, and I was like, yes, and I love everything about it. I think there was one sad thing that I don't know if to say that that was the mom's responsibility. I guess she knew what she was doing. There was a boy and a girl sitting next not too far from me, and probably 10 minutes before the ending, she picked up her kids and left. So I don't know what was the reason why. I guess it's personal reasons, but I guess I don't know.
She couldn't handle it, boy.
I don't know. The children are looking a little restless though. That's the only thing take
Okay.
about it. It looked like that.
Yeah.
But so probably there's a little too adult themed for certain children, even though it's Spider-Man, and it's Miles Morales, and what the face is African American, is Latino, is gonna garner that more with a lot of people worldwide. But I think it's a little too adult theme for some people. That's what I would tell people. But besides that, it's a spectacular movie, and I don't know what to. If I'm gonna get that same aura feeling for anything else that come out this year again, probably Martin Scorsese's movie. Probably because of the
Oh yeah,
dynamic
yeah, yeah.
with
I'm really excited for that. Yeah.
Martin and Leo. Probably that's the only reason. And
Right.
I'm a Nolan,
Not Oppenheimer though. Not
and
Oppenheimer.
I'm a Nolanite, so I'm
Right.
going.
Right.
I know what to expect from Nolanite. I'm going to go in cinema, and then the theme is time. So I'm going to sit down there. I'm going to watch a movie about time. That's basically what to me. That's what it is going to be about. And I'm going to watch it in IMAX, of course. But I don't think there's any movie that's going to catch me. Probably DC's Beetle, Blue Beetle.
I just gotta see the Flash though. But all right, the Blue
Blue
Beetle.
Beetle
Okay.
might be a surprise. Who knows? But I don't think there's anything. Flash is not going to surprise me. I don't think it's going to surprise me. I think I've seen enough. I don't think it's going to surprise me because this talk about the best comic book movie, or whatever, and I'm falling for that. But what they said about this is exactly what they said it is, and that's why I liked it a lot.
Ricardo, your final thoughts on it.
Not since Infinity War have I come out of a theater with this much hype for something.
Oh boy.
It is up there. This was so goddamn amazing for me. As I said, I love the meta text of it, especially with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a perfect thing to do this with. And yeah, Lord and Miller, they masters of meta. They know what they're doing. They absolutely nail it with a lot of this. The subtext of the whole conceit and what's going on there is really interesting as well. It being Miles and him and on what they're doing with all of that. What they're doing with just everything. Just again the art style, art variations, everything they just come across the board. Yeah, rating. I something like a 9.5, around there. Closer to a 9 than a 10 to be fair, but mostly because it's just little nitpick things and little issues with the plot here and there that I had little issues with. Like I felt Miles could have figured out this a little earlier and blah 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 blah. Nitpick bullshit that the adult back of my brain you need to be stifled with a pillow, right? Because they're ruining the fun. That this was just so excellent for me across the board, and it in a sense, it retroactively kind of addressed some of my problems I have with the first film, right? And it just takes that and spins it and pivots into making just a really stronger narrative for this film, in my humble opinion. That's why I felt. I didn't love the first film. I still don't love it all as much as other people do, and this recontextualizes that film and makes that film stronger in after the fact. Yeah, like a 9.5, as I said, right? 9, 9.5 around that.